Alright guys, welcome back from the winter break. Hope you're all ready to get into the rest of the season. We've got the National League Championship phase coming up. We need to win that. We've got the Chatham Cup coming up. I'd like to win that because money and trophies. All you new guys here, because there's a few new faces, all you need to know is that we win every game here. Otherwise, bad things happen, okay? So just keep on winning. Let's pick up the rest of these trophies this season and just hold on to everything. Because we're the only team that matters in New Zealand, not Auckland City, not Western Suburbs. It's all about Cashmere Tech.
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 114 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both Cashmere Technical and the All Whites. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today we've got plenty of transfers to run through before we get stuck in to a Chatham Cup semi-final for the first time on camera for a little while. We'll take on Wellington Olympic away from home, so if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday we got the week underway with a game in the Chatham Cup. I think it was back in the third round where we took on Hallsville United. Also a couple of transfers that we did run through around that. I say a couple, the big one being Ryan Billingsley, the All-White, who was on a free. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Since then, in terms of on the field, it's been going as you'd expect here at Cashmere Tech. We've picked up more wins, 4-1 over the Dunedin City Royals in the Southern League, and also the most recent game, that was a 5-0 win over Ferrymead Bays. And of course, that win over Dunedin, that did mean that we lifted the Southern League title yet again here at Cashmere Tech. But lots of big gaps in and around there. We've played 2 more games in the Chatham Cup as well. First up, took on Lower Hutt and picked up a 2-0 win there, a little bit scratchy, but thankfully goals to Castro did mean that we picked up a win. And a couple of weeks later, it was almost a month to be fair, in the quarters, we got a pretty kind draw and took on the Wellington Phoenix Force and picked up a 6-0 win. Castro with a hat-trick, also goals there to Khaled Clout and a late one to Lorenzo Janssens. That's how we've made our way through to the semis of the Chatham Cup. Quick look at what's going on in the National League as well. Auckland City, clearly the champions there in the Northern League. Now, to be fair, in the Central League, Wellington Olympic are in danger of not qualifying for the National League Championship, which is a bit unusual. They're usually one of the better teams. They started off slow last season, made their way back up there this season. Late on, they need to pick up some points fast. This might be the only chance we get to take on Olympic this season. Does look like Western Suburbs probably going to take that out, despite the fact they're not quite having as good a season as they did last year, and we are already the champions. Christchurch United are currently in the box seat to finish second and make their way through the championship, but Otago Uni and Dunedin not too far behind the rest. But only 2 games left, probably done. To be fair, I think it's really a battle between Christchurch and Otago Uni for that second spot. So that's what's going on in the National League. But I thought today we'd take on Wellington Olympic, seeing because we haven't taken these guys on camera for a little while, especially in a game like a Chatham Cup semi-final. A quick update of what's been going on in the prior rounds, and in particular the quarterfinals, because big tie here between Auckland City and Western Suburbs, which Western Suburbs won 3-1, so that's quite interesting. Auckland City, they got knocked out there relatively early. Wellington Olympic, they just snuck past Ferrymead Bays, and Waiheke United, they knocked out Fencibles. They've been a couple of decent teams so far on their way to the semis. Have Waiheke, but that does set up the semis, which we'll be playing in today's episode. Obviously, we take on Wellington Olympic, and Waiheke, they will host Western Suburbs. So you'd imagine here it should be a final coming up, probably in tomorrow's episode, against Western Suburbs, as long as we don't bottle things and they don't either. But Wellington Olympic, as I said, haven't taken those guys on for a little while. They are struggling this season, but no doubt they will still be a bit of a tough test for us, especially up at Wakefield Park, which it looks like has got a bit of an upgrade since the last time we have played there, because that image is definitely not Wakefield Park. But they come to this one off the back of a loss to Lower Hutt, who we beat back in the 4th round, as you just saw before. So based on that, hopefully we can pick up a pretty comfy win here, but away from home. As I said, this could be tricky, and also because we've got a couple of new faces off the back of yesterday's episode. Obviously, Ryan Billingsley has now played a couple of games for the club, alongside Tim Anderson, for the most part. That's the first big transfer that did happen off the back of yesterday's episode. We'll go over the transfer history, and you should be quite surprised at all the action on the left-hand side. We'll get to that shortly, but first up, over on the right-hand side, indeed, we did sell Ollie McGoldrick to Central Coast. Just thought we could afford to let go of him these days. Now that he has qualified for the All Whites, as I said, that was the main reason we signed him on a free back in the day from Wellington Olympic. He went to Central Coast for £40,000. Ollie McGoldrick is now over in the A-League. That hopefully might just help him develop a little bit more, even though potential and current ability are exactly the same. But he was really good for us, the captain, 119 appearances and 7 goals. But hopefully he'll get some game time over there for the Central Coast Mariners. He should, seeing as he is on a regular starter contract. So Ollie McGoldrick no longer here at Cashmere Tech. It does mean now Lorenzo Janssen, he is the captain. Also, we've let go of a B-team player in Ahmed Al-Khatani. He went for £2,000 to Al Jabalin, who are back in his homeland of Saudi Arabia. So not too much to cover there. He was a bit of an average player, but could cover all positions in the back three and was under 20 for a large time. He was in the first team here at Cashmere Tech, not under 20 anymore. So we did let him go, but 2 more first-teamers have departed. Jamie Young, I thought this was an okay transfer considering Lorenzo Janssen does start ahead of him, which is probably not ideal for a player who is currently the first-choice central attacking midfielder for the All Whites. So he's gone over to the Wollongong Wolves for a fee of around £10,000. We signed him from Nelson Suburbs back in 2031 for a fee of around £7,000 for a slight profit we make on that deal, and he should get game time over there a bit more than what he's been getting with us in a higher quality league in the A-League. So I think that's actually quite a good deal for the national team. Hopefully that might just help Jamie Young develop a bit more with no players like Lorenzo Janssen in his way. So Jamie Young has gone over to the Wollongong Wolves, and one more first teamer has gone over to Australia. This one I didn't really want to do, but Mansell Dossau, a couple of bids came in for him. He wanted to go for £80,000 at the start. The bids were coming in around $20,000. And then that fee did get triggered, and we actually got well over it there from Melbourne City, £90,000. So Mansell Dossau has gone over there to dirty old city in Melbourne, but he could have been a really useful option for us in the All Whites in a couple of years' time. And he's gone from being a bit of a squad player at Cashmere Tech to exactly the same there at Melbourne City. So not too sure if that move will be too good for him, but Mansell Dossau unfortunately didn't quite keep him around long enough to be a future option for the All Whites. That's probably the last you'll see of him in the safe. Picked him up on a free back in 2032, a couple of years here at the club before making that move over to Melbourne City. So those are the players that we've gotten rid of. A couple of first teamers there, which does mean our first team options have changed for this game that we're about to play against Wellington Olympic. But as you saw before, lots of action over there on the left-hand side. Now, to be fair, most of these players are B-teamers or under-20 players who are locals who I thought had 2.5-star potential, so I just signed them to bulk out the numbers because sometimes those teams don't play games, which definitely does not help the players coming through the youth intake. So for the most part, we just bulked up our squads, both the B team, the Turtles, and the under-20s, so just making sure a few more numbers here at Cashmere Tech on non-contracts, but a couple of these players are first teamers, so let me try and find the ones which are now. First up, we have got a new second choice balling midfielder here in Marco Corona. He's a bit better than Marcus Vinicius, is the 23-year-old American, and that means that Vinicius could drop down into the B team, formerly of the Philadelphia Union, New York City, and LAFC. As you can see, mentally, this guy's really good, and with 3-star current ability and 4-star potential, I thought he was worth getting in. We'll see what he can do, hopefully keep him around long enough to maybe be an improvement on someone like Anto Bratic as the backup to Louis Evans in the All Whites. This guy's not too far behind Louis Evans, so certainly a good get for us on a free transfer. The next player who might actually feature for the first team is a new first choice goalkeeper over Josh Hawkins. I am quite concerned about goalkeeper once Alex Paulson does retire from the national team. We picked up a really good one though on a free, and David Cifuentes, unfortunately, currently injured, won't feature in this Chatham Cup semi, but formerly of Arsenal and actually played 11 games for the first team. He is an 18-year-old out of Spain, and he's got decent current ability and potential. I think he's going to be quite a good player for us both here at Cashmere Tech, and also in a couple of years' time, if we can keep hold of him, he should be a very good option for the All Whites as well at such a young age currently. So a new first choice goalkeeper here at Cashmere Tech. And we'll get a couple of years of him as well as an under 20 player. So that will help us out quite a bit alongside Harrison Debenham. That should sort us out for a couple of years on that front. And as well as that, we have signed a couple more. Let me just find the ones who are in the first team, because we did make quite a few transfers, but one more signing that does impact the first team. This is a player I've been trying to get for quite a while. Ezra Zumas comes in, formerly of the Brisbane Roar. He has 22 caps for Australia, so it's pretty good, but I think he hasn't been playing for the Aussies for quite a while. I think we could get him to stay over here and switch to the All Whites and maybe just be a decent backup in behind someone like George McDonald. So Ezra Zumas comes in on a free. The first time I tried to sign him, he wanted a wage of about £9,000 a week. These days, a lot more respectable at £3,000 a week. As you can see, really good current ability and potential. Clearly a new first choice striker here at Cashmere Tech. A little bit harsh on Juan Carlos Castro, but this guy is pretty young, is a local, and does look very promising indeed. So Ezra Zumas, he joins us alongside Cifuentes and Ryan Billingsley from yesterday's episode as new first choice players here at Cashmere Tech. So what that means for our team, usually, as I said, Cifuentes usually in goal but injured for this one. That's why Josh Hawkins is there. But the rest of these players, that is what our first team does look like here now at Cashmere Tech. So Billingsley alongside Anderson with that sale of McGoldrick, and also up front, here's the Zumas. He does come in. I'm going to keep Mitchell Clout on the bench as an extra under 20 option. So it does mean that Castro has dropped down into the B team. So a couple of changes, which hopefully we can get the gel before we get stuck into the National League Championship, which we should make our way into by the time we come back for tomorrow's episode, which hopefully, as I said, will be a Chatham Cup final. But first up, hopefully these guys can pick up a win and send us to that final, probably against Western Suburbs, considering that they're taking on Waiheke, but we're off to Wellington to take on Olympic. And here are the team sheets for this Chatham Cup semi-final here in 2035. First up, the home team in Wellington Olympic here at Wakefield Park, and they are going with a 4-4-2. I think Tongi is a real player, but not too sure about the rest. As I said yesterday, I think we're getting to the stage of the save now where most players are new gens. As I said, just one change for us to our usual first choice 11. Josh Hawkins comes in for the injured Cifuentes. But an early highlight here, and Olympic will try and make their way out from the back. We're putting some decent pressure on them there, albeit they now find some players out left, including one of our former All Whites and AFC Auckland boys in Nathan Palmer, but one of his teammates there, a poor giveaway, which Louis Evans can get us back on the ball from now. But a loose touch there, I think that was from Ciardiello down our left-hand side. So Palmer with a chance here, the Olympic back on the attack. Stevens, it goes 4-2, but good work there from Evans and Clark, our midfielders, and they win the ball back. Now Evans, it's a lovely ball out there to Carly, beats his man, tight angle here for him, but the Egyptian will put it away. That's number 21 for him this season. He's got more goals than his age now. Here's the 20-year-old, and he has been a real star player for us ever since he's got here at Cashmere Tech. Lovely ball there from Evans after helping us win that one in the midfield. Good touch there from Carly to beat Leslie, and we're off to a flyer. 1-0 up inside 5 minutes. And we go forward to just show the 10-minute mark for the next highlight in this game, and it is a hero throw for Wellington Olympic inside the final third, and they find Burton in quite a bit of space for some reason. We can't shut him down, looking there for the top right corner, but thankfully Josh Hawkins comes up with a good save. As you'd expect, he's certainly not shy on game time. Cifuentes has only started a couple for us since coming in, but Olympic off the back of that corner do get a shot off there, but thankfully there's a block, but a decent period of pressure here for the home team as they do try and grab an equaliser. So a bit of a turnaround here off back of that hot start that we did make. Thankfully, we somewhat hid that one away. Xavier Smith hoofs it forward, and actually, this could be a chance for us here potentially to do something on the counter-attack, albeit Ciardiello just takes his time there, plays it back to Debenham, albeit this highlight does continue before he loses out there Wheatley. So maybe this is just a waste of time now, albeit this highlight will continue. Olympic making their way out from that, try and hoof that one deep. I think Billingsley won that one for us. Now Janssen out there too. Ciardiello crosses that one. Big deflection off Minja, but Zumas will pick up a goal. That's his first one in a Cashmere Tech shirt. So that long highlight where Wellington Olympic were on the attack for a fair bit of it off the back of a couple of set pieces. Actually does result in a debut goal for the Australian. Nice ball out there to Diallo. His cross takes a big deflection, thankfully fell quite kindly for Zoomers. 2-0 up, just past the 10-minute mark. And going forward about 10 minutes off the back of that second goal, so far it's been one-way traffic in this game in terms of the goal scoring, but as you saw, before that second goal, Olympic did have some good chances from set piece. That shocking work there out from the back from them though. Big chance for Diallo, but the goalkeeper inspires, comes up with a really good save, so a good chance for us there to put this one to bed, but good work there from the Olympic goalkeeper to save the blushes. Now a corner, they head that one away there through Tongi, so another chance for us here from set piece. So pretty much what we saw down the other end earlier. Hopefully this time we might score a goal instead of the team who were putting the pressure on. But unfortunately Spears can come out and claim that one, albeit yet again this highlight is going to continue. So a couple of long highlights here we are getting in this Chatham Cup semi. Evans wins that one, so hopefully might be another chance for us here. Johnson tries to play that one forward, but Minja this time some good defensive work, albeit hoofs that one forward, and Anderson plays it forward to Smith, and now Diallo does get in behind just inside the box, takes on a shot there from a tight angle, and that's another good save there from the goalkeeper. So a couple of decent chances there for our left winger, but it does mean more pressure here from a set piece. Debenham floats that one far post again. He will claim that one. Long highlight, no goal. Still 2-0 Cashmere, albeit now we are down the other end for an Olympic corner. Evans, that's not a good header. Clear. Tongi plays that one out to Wheatley, who starts to do his man there down our left-hand side. Bit of a speculative shot there, but thankfully it's a pretty easy save that for Hawkins. And the highlight will continue yet again. To be fair, that's not so surprising because that shot was a bit average. We start to do something here down our left-hand side. Smith to Johnson, now Khaled, and he'll find Debenham in a bit of space here down our right-hand side. Let's see what he can do just inside the byline. Looks to find there. That probably would have been Diallo. Indeed it was, as I think Smith there plays it back into him. Good chance there for Zoomers. And again, Spears with a very good save. So really could be 3-0 up in this game by now, if not for the Olympic goalkeeper. Yet another corner for us here, which Debenham will take short. Johnson to Debenham, makes his way inside the box, switches that one out there to Sam Clark, cuts inside, takes on the shot. It goes well high and wide. Still at 2-0 Cashmere. And thankfully, a bit of time there to catch my breath off the back of those long highlights before now up to the 40-minute mark here. And Sam Clark there with a good chance, edge of the box from a free kick, but unfortunately that one comes off the woodwork, I believe. A couple of good chances for us now to put this one to bed before half-time, but still 2-0 Olympic. Could potentially make a way back into this one in the second half. We do have another throw in here only a few minutes later. Sam Clark just inside the box, unfortunately lose touch. Minja can clear it, but straight into the path of the all-white. And Ryan Billingsley finds a teammate in Evans. Poor pass out there looking for Debenham. Olympic will clear it, thankfully. Tim Anderson is there to tidy things up. One more goal would be quite nice considering all the chances we have had to grab one in the second half. And Khaled does get played in beautifully there by Lorenzo Johnson. Who else but Wilded Khaled? He's been our star man at Cashmere Tech this season, especially now that we've dropped Castro to the B team, which is very harsh. But Zoomers does look like a big step up. Hopefully that will pay off and he won't max Caputo us, but it's a nice goal there to make it 3-0 just before halftime. And we're just at a big waste of time highlight there before halftime. Sam Clark blasted a shot well over the bar from a very, very long highlight, which started right off the back of that third goal, which we did score, but thankfully going to halftime here with a 3-0 lead. To be fair, Olympic are getting shots off and shots on target, but thankfully we held on and we've definitely been on the front foot in this game and made the most of it with those 3 goals. Everyone out there doing a good job, no changes needed. 3-0 up as we start the second half. And it's been a very boring second half so far, but with a 3-0 lead, we'll take it here. No highlights so far, but Louis Evans has just picked up a yellow card, and to be fair, this is a time we should bring on our youngsters. A Cloud, he can come on for Zoomers, got his first goal for the club in this Chatham Cup semi. Also, Tristan Turner, he can come on for Clark, and as well as that, we'll actually bring on Jack Honey for Louis Evans on that yellow card. We'll use all our subs there, make sure that in particular Honey and Clout, they can get some ratings. Those are 2 youngsters, albeit these days Jack Honey is not under 20, but shortly off the back of that, there is a highlight here for Olympic and Stevens. Looked like he might get played through there from Burton, but for some reason plays it back to him. Now out there to Trari. Good ball in there though for Wheatley. Thankfully, that one's off target. They're getting chances here, our Olympic, but not making the most of them as we make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game. As you can see, both teams not up to much at all in the second half of this game. We'll even go attacking just to try and get something to happen late in this game. But unfortunately, the second half was up to pretty much nothing. But we're going to pick up a win and make our way through to yet another Chatham Cup Final. We'll go forward off the back of this and just see who that will be against. You'd imagine Western Suburbs. They should be beating Waiheke, but Khaled with first half double and also that first goal for our new striker from Australia in Ezra Zumas does mean we pick up a 3-0 win. Siadiello actually got man of the match, which is a bit surprising, but solid win there, and we'll make our way through to yet another Chatham Cup Final. Let's just go forward and see who that one is going to be against. And indeed, no surprises, they did leave it late, but Western Suburbs with a 2-0 win over Waiheke United. So coming up tomorrow, for the first time in a little while, we're going to take on Western Suburbs in a cup final. So a good solid win for us there in the semi-final of the Chatham Cup, which does set up a final. As you can see, the item below this goal drought here for the Wayne train, which thankfully has now been ended after 10 hours of competitive football. To be fair, these days the Wayne train not really good enough for the All Whites. At 34 years old, he is on the decline just a little bit these days over there, and I believe that is the Don over in France. Indeed, that is the case. And to be fair, some of the time he spent there has been down in the National Championship League there over in France. But we are through to a Chatham Cup final to take on Western Suburbs. Thankfully, it's going to get played at my arena. Usually we play them up there. Thankfully this time they'll have to come to my stadium and hopefully we can pick up a win there. It does say that game is on the 15th of September. If you've been watching the save for a little while, you know that that game usually gets shifted back once the draw does come out for the National League Championship. Just got to play a couple of games to finish up the Southern League before then against Nelson Suburbs and Christchurch United. But we'll come back for that final in tomorrow's episode, and by then should have played our first couple of games as well of the National League Championship. But that will do it for today's episode. Quite a few transfers that we have made, especially for our youth and B teams here at Cashmere Tech, as well as a couple for the first team, and we beat Wellington Olympic there to set up a Chatham Cup final against Western Suburbs. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well until tomorrow for the Chatham Cup final in 2035 from my arena against Western Suburbs. Thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.